What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to talk to my Pan-Africans and my pro-blacks. And I just want to say one very important thing that I think needs to be said to all the Pan-Africans and pro-blacks out there fighting, to unify black people. And that thing is, we need to leave these people behind. We don't need them. We need to leave these people behind. What do I mean we need to leave these people behind? Well, I think you guys are all aware that there are a group of Africans who live in America who has chosen to divest from African people and African culture. We have groups of African people in North America who have chosen to pretend to be another mythological group of people instead of being African or black, instead of identifying with their African heritage. For some reason, they still want to hold on to the word black, which black means African. But, I digress. Maybe, if they can find a way to do mental gymnastics to pretend to be mythological indigenous race of North America, then it's not far-fetched to believe that they can take the word black that means African and make it mean something else. Even though black is English for negro, negro is black for African. The Niger, Congo people, the Niger, the countries. It's a word derived from a place in Africa. But from Spanish to English being turned derogatory, because first is negro. Negro is Spanish for black. Then, of course, English people didn't want to roll the R's, and they said nigga, negro. And then, of course, it became derogatory and nigger and nigga, right? And we come to this point, and then we said, no, we're not going to say it the Spanish way. We're not going to say it the disrespectful English way. We'll just say it the regular English translation of the Spanish word black, right? Meaning African. But I think as Pan-Africans and all over the world, we need to just forget about these people that don't want to be African. Now, I know it's hard to get away from them because for all the Pan-Africans and pro-blacks that be in the comment, that make their YouTube videos and they're teaching their people, what is black? What is African? What is your heritage? What is your true history? We have these divestors who are divesting in various different ways. You got some that want to divest and they want to go and join the white community, right? Whether it's divesting through relationships, whether it's divesting through political attachments, i.e. Coonarians and super black liberals who think that liberal white people are going to do anything to uplift them, after they complete their agenda. You got the ones that want to be pretendians. You got the ones that for some reason think that by divesting from the large group of black people, that their smaller, less capable group is going to do something more significant than what the greater body has already done, right? I don't get it, right? And every country has those people, right? Every country has a group of black people who don't want to be black, or they don't want to associate with their true identity, right? And it's not our job anymore in the age of information to pander to these people, right? Now, sure, like I said, they're going to come in your comment section because keep in mind, these guys they know they're African. That's the thing. In their subconscious and conscious mind, they know they're black African people. That's why, for some reason, even though they divest to all these different groups, they can't stay away from pro-black and definitely can't stay away from Pan-African channels. And something inside them, some feeling whelps inside them that they can't control whenever they get called an African. Whenever their true identity points them in, whenever they have to confront their true identity, something violent happens within them that causes them to react, right? But the thing is, like I said, in the age of information, it's not our job to have to pander to these black people who can't look in the mirror and tell that they're black, who can't look in the mirror and tell that they're African. We don't have that type of time because we don't need them. There's enough Pan-Africans out there. There's enough pro-blacks out there in every country that African people exist in every country that we control. There's enough Pan-Africans out there for us to concentrate on us, gather us together, and do what's best for the black people. You see, we always knew everybody wasn't coming. We always have phrases like skin folk, all skin folk ain't kin folk. And we know Our biggest enemies are the people that look like us, that want us to maintain the status quo of white supremacy. That's our biggest. It's no longer white people. White people are not truly our biggest. I mean, they're our opposition. They're the ones doing the thing. They are the operators of all this, right? They're the operators of the propaganda. They're the operators of all the divisive issues that we have as black people. They are the architects of that. You know, as far as over here in Africa, we have our own issues, our in-house issues that we need to take care of. But as Pan-Africans, we're going to get to that, right? See, Pan-African knows that there are internal issues that we African people need to deal with. We got things about our traditional religions that need to be canceled. We got things about our traditional culture that needs to be canceled. We got this thing of tribalism that we have to deal with within our own selves. These are internal issues that as Africans, we all need to deal with, right? As an African American, I'm a result of the tribalism in, you know, the continent of Africa, because if it wasn't for those tribalistic issues, then I wouldn't be over here. But I'm not stupid enough to believe that Africans were inherently extra naive compared to all the other groups that got marginalized by the Europeans. Because literally every group of people that got marginalized by the Europeans got marginalized using the same European game plan. Go in there, find out what are the differences between the different cultural ethnic groups, what are the acrimonious altercations, see who's the victim and who is the perpetrator. Go to the victim, empower the victim to be more powerful than the previous perpetrator. Empowering the victim, give them guns, give them weapons, let them be able to dominate their previous you know, person that was holding them down, and then go to that power and say, hey, I heard they got guns. Here, let me give you some guns. I heard they have resources to fight you. Let me give you some resources to fight them. Basically, agging on the fight. They're the third person in that aggs the fight on and then disappears once all the melee happens. That's them. All right. But despite that, those things that we have to deal with internally, right? Pan-Africans understand, but despite that, there are issues and dangers on the outside of the greater African body that we have to deal with, because we're never going to be able to deal with all the internal stuff that we have as Africans, all our divisiveness, all our divisiveness, our lack of ability to understand and accept the diversity within the black world itself. You hear what I just said? The lack of the ability to comprehend, understand, and appreciate the actual diversity within Africans themselves. To realize that we are the world, we are the diversity. Everybody else is attacking that thing and take advantage of that thing, right? The whole ideal of America, the whole idea of a perfect global society is hinged off what they saw in Africa when we were being the most diverse group of human beings on the planet. We were commingling and interacting as a multicultural group of people that all just happen to be black. Pan-Africans understand that even though we're different, we are coalescing under the identity of African, the overall corporate body of all our different ethnic groups that we have, the overall umbrella term for all things African, all things black on the continent. We understand that. And we understand there's people on the outside that wish to take our resources, wish to take our labor, wish to take everything we got and keep it for themselves. So we, as Pan-Africans and pro-black, want to make we're going to make you know how elephants protect their young? When they're young and they're helpless, they make a circle. The whole elephant herd makes a circle and they point outwards, right? Because even though the elephant herds, within their family dynamic, they all got issues with each other, right? They all got issues, like legitimate issues with each other, beefs and stuff. But when it comes to protecting the future, when it comes to protecting the prime directive, which is the survival of their herd, they all point towards the outside in unison, despite their individual differences within the herd, and they protect it from everything on the outside, right? And once it's safe enough to turn around and deal with the things on the inside, that's what they do. And that's what Pan-Africans do. We have to create a rim around what is considered African diaspora. And we have to, no matter what's happening internally, we have to create that barrier to stop the outside people from using the internal issues that we have as a tool to divide us and make us weaker so that they can effectively come inside the veins of our division and suck up our resources. We Pan-Africans and pro-blacks know that. That takes a lot of energy and effort. We don't have time to convince these African Americans who don't have the comprehension skills to look inside a mirror, which is primary evidence that they are African and black. We don't have time to convince these people that do not want to be convinced. Because the thing is, they know they're black. Every one of these pretendians know they're African. Because when they get off the internet, when they get off YouTube, when they finish harassing black people for being black, when they stop yelling and screaming and projecting their insecurities on everybody else who know that they're African, when they stop doing that on the internet, they go back to their black reality with their black family. And they do black things. That's what they do. We don't have time for that. Because what's going to happen is, eventually, as this ball is rolling, as Pan-Africanism is becoming a mainstay and a primary source of empowerment for black people around the world, you're going to have your naysayers. You're going to have your people who believe in the propaganda of their masters, and they're going to believe every little divisive thing that they can find to separate us. I.e., right now, we're always being used to push agendas, right? If you want the world to know something, make a black person talk about it, and the black person will know. That's why they attach LGBT to black. Both liberals have attached their LGBT movement to the black movement. That way, when we move up, they are piggybacking off us, which is something we don't like, right? Even though there are black people participating in their black LGBT people, right? Just like the white Christian national conservatives are using LGBT to attack black people. That way, instead of saying we don't want CRT or wokeness because it means black, because they know it means black. Everybody knows woke means black. So you see a coonarian saying the woke media, the woke mob, they're just coons. That's exactly what they are. Any black person that have a problem with the word woke is clearly, undeniably a coon. Undeniably a coon. Like 100%, that is a stamp of a coon, is a black person that has a problem with the word woke. Because woke mean black people being aware and conscious of their surroundings, of the people that mean to do us harm. All right. So instead of saying woke, they'll say woke. Oh, it means LGBT. You see how the white Christian conservatives and the liberals use black people as a tool for their agenda, but one is attacking black people, the other one's using black people for a come up. Right? We can't allow ourselves to be used that way. Yeah. But at the same time, we have too many coons that's sucking up too much energy from us Pan-Africans and us pro-black nationalists. We have too many of them to pay attention to them. If they don't want to be black, go right ahead. Pretend like you're not black all you want. If they don't want to be African, forget them. We don't actually need them. There's enough people who understand what unity is for us to do what we got to do. Period. The army is there. The intellect is there. The resources are there. The movement is there. And it's happening. It's happening. Pan-African is going to be the vehicle that liberates us. That's just the truth, right? And we know we got naysayers that like to make videos. Pan-Africanism is dead. They don't know anything about Pan-Africanism. They have no idea about the government organizations, the NGOs, and all the non-profit organizations that operate under the guise of Pan-Africanism. They don't understand that Pan-Africanism is an actual movement, an actual political, international, global political movement. Not just some people on YouTube that's fan clubs like FBA, ADO. Those are fan clubs. Those are not real things, right? Those are not real things. Those are fan clubs. But Pan-Africanism is a real movement. So for all my Pan-Africans that get disheartened by all these black, it seemed like it's like a 50-50 thing. It seemed like the water is muddy. The water is not muddy. The water is very, very, very clear. Even though the naysayers and the divestors want to throw stones in the water to create ripples so we can't see the bottom. But trust and believe, we can see. We see. All right. So all my Pan-Africans, all my pro-blacks out there that's disheartened about all these weirdo black people, these weird black people that take different avenues to divest. Even the ones that take Pan-Africanism to try to divest from Pan-Africanism. That's the craziest one. We really got to watch out for those coonarians who call themselves Pan-African and they don't display any Pan-African ideologies. They don't display any Pan-African political ways of thinking. They don't display they don't make any Pan-African content. They don't talk about anything Pan-African, and they attack all pro-black and all Pan-African leaders, Pan-African activists, and people who attempt to do the best they can to better and further the black prosperity on this planet. They attack those people. So don't let people just call themselves Pan-African and you accept it. All right? They have to qualify. And Pan-Africans should be doing something. So subscribers, people who follow certain people that call themselves Pan-African, it's your duty as a Pan-African, I'm assuming, or as pro-black, I'm assuming, if you're watching our channels, you should be calling out the people that you watch to show and tell. Stop talking and show me what you're doing with all that lip. You got a lot of lip, but what are you actually doing? How can someone judge a person who's done great things when they haven't done anything? What legs does any of these coonarians have to stand on to talk about our great leaders, whether they were imperfect or not? And no, last time I checked, nobody's perfect, right? And if none of these coonarians are perfect, how can they judge any of these legends who at least attempted, and some of them died for the cause? You understand? So we have to become smarter, guys. We have to become more intelligent than we are. That's the problem. That's really the problem in a lot of our societies, that our people are not intelligent. White people are not. Nobody's as intelligent as they should be. Everybody really need to keep up on their intelligence and try to make themselves intelligent. And you being out of school doesn't mean you stop learning. As a matter of fact, once you stop school, that's when you really should start learning. That's when it's your opportunity to stop being programmed by the various different people, and you can start actually learning and controlling the information that goes into your head. But yeah, don't worry about these cats, because guess what? When Africa rises, when black people continue to rise despite their blah, 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 on the internet, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, they're just yapping from the crowd. They're just yapping from the stands. That's what they're doing. They're yapping from the stands while all the real people are doing the real work under the guise of unity, Pan-Africanism, right? When it becomes popular, just like the rest of the low information people who refuse to learn, refuse to educate themselves because they'd rather be entertained, they will jump on the bandwagon. They will be the last ones to join. That's what's going to happen. They're going to join. They'll just be last. And when they do join, they're not even going to remember the time they were anti-African. They were anti-black. They're not going to remember any of this FBA. All that's going to conveniently disappear, just like their comprehension has conveniently disappeared about who they are right now. Watch it. It's going to be just like magic, right? Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say, guys. 2024, we got to move on. We got to start taking steps and not stepping back. Stepping forward. We're stepping forward, guys. Leave these divesting. If they don't want to be pro-black, they don't want to go to Africa, fudge them. Leave them. Let them stay right where they are, because they're not the type of people we want to go to Africa anyway. They're not the type of people we want to represent us with our brothers and sisters on the continent anyway. And for my brothers and sisters on the continent, I know in your countries, you have people who don't give two shits about anybody else that ain't exactly them or in their tribe. Forget them. Leave them right there where they are while you work with the rest of us on the international stage to better your communities. That's what you do. We don't care about them. They're not going to hurt our feelings. They're not going to dissuade us from being Pan-African because somebody said something mean to me because my feelings was hurt by an African. They called me this. None of that shit matters. I don't care if I see a million videos of a million Africans saying African Americans shouldn't go to Africa, are not African. I don't care if I hear a million videos of some Caribbeans saying African Americans ain't shit and this and that. I don't care if I see a million videos of Latino Africans saying African Americans this and we that and this and we better than. I don't care about none of that, because I know all those people belong to the same group, and I put them in the same category. The Coonarians and the divesting community. They're the Canarians and they're divestors. They don't matter in the grand scheme of things. They're fodder. That's what they are. They're fodder. All right, to be cleaned up later. All right, after the real work has been done. I don't care. None of that is going to stop my Pan-Africanism, because for every one of them that's talking trash, there's 1,000 that's wishing that somebody would just step up and just unite. There's 1,000 that wish that somebody would just create something, give them an opportunity to make a move. There's 1,000 out there, and I know it. And not everybody's on YouTube screaming to the mountaintops, projecting their insecurities on and online. You understand? So I'm not worried about any of these haters, naysayers, and divestors. They don't sway my Pan-Africanism. Because I know to be a Pan-African, you have to push. You have to have resolve. This is a battle of attrition, you understand? Meaning you fight until you die, or you fight until you win. That's it, and that's all. There's no quitting. There's no giving up. It's just what it is. And that's what Pan-Africanism is at the end of the day. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed what I said. Tell me what you think about this in the comments section. Tell me, are you going to leave these naysayers and leave them in 2023? Are we going to leave them from behind? Are we going to let them watch and boo and hiss and do whatever they're going to do in the crowds while we make moves on the court? Let me know what you think in the comments section. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn some Tito. I'm out.